huge day for Now This Is Wrestling. We've talked about it, and now it's finally here. We are going to talk to the principal owner of Now This Is Wrestling. We are here in Denver, Colorado, and this person is no stranger to professional wrestling, and I believe he's going to bring good things to Now This Is Wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, Vince Russo. Vince.
How you doing?
Good. Thank you for having us come out here and talk with you in your lovely home here. I guess the first question that I'm going to ask you is, what's Stone Cold Steve Austin really like?
Do you see these mountains? The tranquility out here? Do you really want to get me upset with a question like that? I think there are much bigger things to talk about today, and I don't think you came all the way out here from Omaha to ask me about Stone Cold Steve Austin. So let's really talk about what's important today.
Sorry, that was more of a personal.
Yeah, that's good, but I'm trying to keep the peace. I'm trying to keep the tranquility. That's why we're out here on this location doing this. So let's just ignore that question.
Okay.
Let's just move on. Let's put this away. We don't need that. We don't need notes. We're professionals here. What do you want to talk about today?
Okay. Well, first of all, you know, we came to you asking you about Now This Is Wrestling if you wanted to invest, and you know, we asked for very little, and you came back with a much larger amount. Why would you?
Well, you know, again, I'm here in Denver, Colorado, minding my own business. You know, I moved out here about 8 years ago to relax. You know, after the turmoil and the chaos with you know, WWE, WCW, TNA, you know, we get older and we want to relax and we want to fade into the sunset. But you know, wrestling has always been in my blood, you know, ever since I was a kid, you know, going back to the early 1970s. And you know, you can say you want to walk away from it, you know, till the cows come home. But the bottom line is, when it's still a part of who you are, it's difficult to do that. And I'm not going to lie to you, I was approached by a lot of people to get, you know, back into the wrestling business. But I kind of had my fill. But quite honestly, you gentlemen came along at that point, and we talked a couple of times. And listen, I say this all the time, and I'm just going to say this. And if parts of this interview are politically incorrect, feel free to edit them out, because I can't be edited. So I'm going to say what's on my mind. A lot of people approached me and wanted me to get involved in their, you know, wrestling organizations. And listen, a lot of these guys were just marks that wanted to hang out with wrestlers and put on a show and, you know, take a wrestler out to dinner and be able to have a conversation with Vince Russo. And I'm not interested in that. That never interested me. You know, you came along with your partner. We spoke a couple of times. We did a couple of nice, really long Skype calls. The one thing I loved about Now This Is Wrestling is you guys not only had a vision. You know, a lot of people start wrestling companies and there is no vision. They don't even know what they're getting into it for. You guys not only had a vision, but you had a plan and you had goals of how to get where you wanted to go. And quite honestly, that impressed me, because I saw you had thought through this process. You know, you were, you know, I'm just going to say it, you were willing to pony up your own money. And a lot of promoters won't do that. A lot of promoters will borrow money from other people, and if they lose money, they're losing other people's money. You guys were willing to pony up your own money, which showed me that you believed in yourselves. And I love the confidence. I love the vision. I love the game plan. So I thought, why not? Let's go in business with these guys, but let's see if we could take it to a higher level. If the work ethic I saw, that's what I look for. And if you're willing to work just as hard as me, well, maybe we should kind of take this to the next level.
Now, is this going to be different for you, kind of?
Shouldn't you thank me for putting you over the way I just did?
Yeah,
I just put you over.
Thank you very much.
I don't put a lot of people over.
You don't, and I appreciate that.
Did you ever see my Hulk Hogan promo, Bash at the Beach?
Yeah.
I don't
yeah,
put a lot of
yeah.
people over, but I just put you over.
You did. And,
All right.
Well, let's try it again. Thank you very much for putting us
Yeah,
over,
you
Mr.
deserve it,
Russo.
and I meant that. That's the abs. And I told you guys that when you were interviewing me on Skype. That's why I wanted to sit down and talk to you guys, because I'm not, I'm not one that's going to sit here and take somebody's money, because I'm not interested in that. But guys that have a goal and a plan in place and have thought this through and represent themselves well, I'm excited.
Oh, we are excited to work with you. Let's talk a little bit now. You're used to being kind of behind the scenes and stuff like that. How is this going to be different for you now that you're the principal owner of Now This Is Wrestling, making a lot of the bigger decisions, everyday decisions?
That's a good question, and I think I've proven in the past. My track record has proven. I'm not the. Let me put it to you this way. I'm not the Eric Bischoff type. Okay, I am not, the boss that sits in the high altar and barks orders out at those beneath him. I was never into power. I never had a chip on my shoulder. I'm not the guy who wants the corner office. And quite frankly, I'm not motivated by money. That doesn't motivate me. What motivates me is believing in something and getting in the trenches and getting my hands dirty, as you guys have been doing in building Now This Is Wrestling. That's what you've been doing. That's where I get my joy, and that's where I get my pleasure, and that's where I get my love for the business. Working with young talent, cultivating young talent, literally, taking nothing and making something out of it. So listen, I've put myself in harm's way and received several concussions by getting in a wrestling ring, because I was willing to do whatever I had to do to help the product. So that's what I'm willing to do, whatever it takes. Wherever you guys need help, wherever I think help might be needed, that's what I'm willing to do.
And that's one of the reasons why we came to you first, was because of your work ethic and your passion for the business. And I think I see some of myself in you.
It's like get panicky. Listen, maybe you'll get there one day, kid. But let's not. Let's take that back. Retract that. Retract that to the camera. Retract it.
I don't see a lot of myself.
Say yet.
So I'm on my way, as you can see.
Bro, when you come under my wing, my tutelage, my guidance, then maybe a couple months we'll be talking. But now let's.
All right. Well, let's just say I aspire to be like
good.
you.
Yes. Good.
So let's see. You, Anthony Douglas, and myself, we've had some visions for Now This Is Wrestling that we've been working on, and now that you're officially a part, what visions do you have? What are you going to bring to Now This Is Wrestling?
The one thing I always said about wrestling is there's no can't. There's no can't in wrestling. There are no guidelines. You have the freedom to do whatever you want to do. Once there are, I call them the rules of wrestling. Once the rules of wrestling are put into place, you are so limited to what you can do. And if you want to know what the rules of wrestling are, all you have to do is watch the WWE every Monday night. They've limited themselves to what they can do. There is no limitations in wrestling, and the beauty of working with you and Anthony is, you have three very different creative minds, and you have three guys that are not going to handcuff each other. So when I look at that, the sky is the limit. I've always failed in wrestling, always failed when restrictions have been put on me, because the minute restrictions are put on me, I know in my mind, okay, this is going to be wrestling 101, and the only people that are going to care about that are the wrestling fans. The reason everybody cared about the Attitude Era and it took off the way it did was because there was something for everybody. Everybody tuned into that show. And with Now This Is Wrestling, I hope we can accomplish the same thing. I hope that, you can bring the hardcore wrestling fans to the show, but you could bring families to the show. You could bring kids to the show. You could bring women to the. When's the last time attractive women went to a wrestling show? But by opening it up to everybody, and you know, the possibilities of let's try this and let's try that, are things going to fail? Absolutely. But for, you know, for every, you know, 5 failures you may have, as you brought up early in this conversation, you may have your Stone Cold Steve Austin. And that's all you need. So the fact of the matter is that we're not, I say this all the time, and Now This Is Wrestling, we're not going to dare to be different. There are going to be no limitations, and we're going to do things that you've probably never seen before. And let me add this too, though. We're going to do it with the greatest talent in the country, because we're just not going to stay close to home. You know, and that's what, again, I'm going back to those other promoters. That's what a lot of the promoters do. They stay close to home. Why do they stay close to home? Because they don't want to spend the trans to bring somebody in, because, you know, it's all about, they have very few dollars to do this, and they can't afford to fly in a star. Well, I told you guys up front, yes, it does cost money, but yes, you have to spend money to make money. So you have to open it up. You know, I mean, let's face it, there are some great talents in Omaha, but there are great talents all over the world. So you've got to go out. I know you and Anthony have been out everywhere, you know, on the web, you know, looking for talent and going after that talent. And that's what I'm really excited about too, because, you know, I've seen so many unknowns that the people haven't seen yet. And, you know, I mean, I've seen people that I've sat back and I've said, you know, why aren't they on the main stage? And the fact of the matter is, the truth is, a lot of people aren't on the main stage because of politics. So there's great talent out there, and I'm excited about going out there and finding that talent.
Now, we can post videos on our YouTube here and there, interviews and all this, but the fact of the matter is, people are going to get bored with that. Now, you've come up with a date for our first show and a venue. Did you want to tell? Yeah, we have. There is, listen, and again, when I first spoke to you guys, and like I said, I loved the first impression. You know, I saw who you guys were. I loved the goal, and I loved the plan. But when I saw that you guys had a plan, I had to say to myself, okay, let's face it, I'm Vince Russo. If these guys have a plan, I have to have a master plan. So now there's a master plan in place. And listen, I'm taking you guys along slowly, because I tend to scare people with my ideas. Because a lot of people can't handle my ideas, because I don't think like anybody else. So there's a master plan that you guys aren't even privy to yet. We'll get to that. But there is a show, and there is a date, and I'm really looking forward to it. I am going to be there. And it's going to be August 20th. It's going to be in Omaha, and it's going to be at the Slow Down. And this is going to be, listen, when you think about it, you guys have been working on this for a while, right? August 20th is still months away. Still months away. Now, you've already been working on it for months. We're still months away. So I can only imagine how big this event at the Slow Down is going to be. And you know, listen, if I come to Omaha, you see these mountains? I don't like leaving these mountains. But if I'm going to leave these mountains and I'm going to go to Omaha on August 20th, which I am going to do, I'm expecting to walk into a packed arena, standing room only, people going crazy. And like I said, I love the fact that you've been planning this for a while. And now here's the date, and we're still months away. You know, still looking for talent to sign to this show. And I promise you, if this is the first show for Now This Is Wrestling, it's not going to be an event. It's going to be a spectacle. Now, you mentioned like master plan and stuff like that. Is there any talent that you have in mind that you can tell, or is that still going to be kind of like top secret information? I have some talent in mind. There are negotiations going on right now. I don't really know at this time if I want to disclose any of that, but let's say, you know, who knows? Maybe as the day progresses, I'll open up a little bit more. You know, it depends, you know, who's paying for lunch. You know, I mean, you know, little things like that. We'll see what happens from now till the end of the day. Well, I guess, unless there's anything else you want to say, August 20th, Slow Down, Omaha, Nebraska. Yeah. Now This Is Wrestling's first show. Is there anything else you want
Yeah,
to
we have
add,
to
or-
talk about the proper business attire.
Okay.
Because, I mean,
I thought I looked pretty.
bro, first of all, I mean, not for anything. Like, we don't wear khakis in New York. Like, the khakis,
I've never been there. I saw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Part 2, and that took place.
were they wearing khakis, the turtles?
No.
Yeah.
they
Well,
weren't.
listen, maybe we need to try this. As the new business attire. Now, this is wrestling. We get you some jeans, do something with that hair, and you're almost there.
All right. Well, thank you for taking
Thank
the
you.
time
Thank
and
you,
talking
sir.
with us.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for everything
Thank you.
you've done and what
Thank
you're
you.
going to do. We
Mhm.
appreciate that.
Thank you.
Again, it's going to be August 20th, Omaha, Nebraska. The Slowdown. Vince Russo's going to be there. Tickets will be on sale sometime shortly, and we hope to see you there.